One, two, three, in the place to be. Once again, it's your player partners from the bottom of the map.
In the bottom of the map.
It's your dog Israel.
Hayes.
And before we jump in, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, share, and if you have any comments, please jump in the comment section, and we will jump in there with you. Holla at us, and we will holla back. Now, we in the midst of March Madness. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think it's a lot of madness going on, not just in basketball. But if you got basketball fever, this is the best time of the year. You got all types of conference tournaments. You got the NCAA tournament coming up. It's your team in. You got your brackets. You know, you're gonna have a Cinderella run like Miami had last year to the Final Four. Um, yeah, it's a lot to look for. Buzzer beaters, upsets galore. We've had, I think, like 21 number ones go down in their conferences. So it's a lot of parity, NIL, transfer portal. I think that's what we love about college basketball for anybody that watches. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just at this time of year, it's chaos. It's chaos. You know what I'm saying? Shit just goes down. But that's what makes it exciting. So a lot of have you been paying? You know what I'm saying? You've been paying attention. You've been
You know what I'm saying? Here and there, I definitely caught a lot of the ACC tournament. Not at Miami, which we kind of already said Miami was gonna have one of them years. But yeah, I definitely been catching. What I live for is there's certain teams every year. Like I watch what Kentucky like. Okay, they're not gonna win the tournament. They're gonna be highly favored, and I'm gonna watch them go into the tournament, be favored. And I don't think they're going to be a number one seed no more. I don't think them or Tennessee is going to be a number one seed. But I'm
no.
like, they're going to disappoint. So for me, it's about watching the teams that are supposed to be all of that disappoint, and then some of the teams that are a little underrated, right? Like Houston got blown out, but I still feel like Houston was good when Miami was good. So I feel like they'll still have a bit of a run. You know what I'm saying? And so, I think that coupled with what goes on in the NBA, right? Because now the NBA, you watch teams, playing hardcore for seeding. So I just think
Mhm.
between the mix of seeing what's going to happen in the tournament versus what's going on in the NBA, I get a fix of basketball without, what I'm saying, kind of looking at it like, well, damn, none of my team's in there, which, Miami Heat going to be Miami Heat. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. So, I watch it sparingly.
Sparingly. All right. Well, the chaos has ensued in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
I've been paying
okay,
attention.
it's done went down. It's done went crazy. I want to get into it a little bit later, but it's been all types of moves. A lot of moves. Unexpected moves. Russell Wilson signing in Pittsburgh. Then Justin Fields getting traded to Pittsburgh, which I think is a great move, but people like they don't understand it.
No, I actually think those are great moves. Justin Fields, I mean, I'm not a believer, right? I just never really was. But I think Russell got more in the tank. I think Denver has had problems with quarterbacks for like the last, 10 years. So I think that if you pay attention to football, like, look, what I'm saying? A lot of people gonna say a lot of things, but when Russell Westbrook, notice I say when he does well, them same people, they're not gonna come back and say I was wrong, because that's just not what fans do. Fans say crazy shit because they bet with statements that don't cost them no money, and then when they lose, they just don't say nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great move because I think it goes back to how traditionally you wanted quarterbacks to come up. What's been happening is that these franchises have been so abysmal. They draft a quarterback and expect him to come in right away and like turn around a franchise. And then when they lose, they go one and whatever, two and whatever, they are blaming it on the quarterback. The quarterback is terrible. Now, some of these quarterbacks are bad. Some of these quarterbacks are terrible. But typically, like what it used to happen back in the day is like you draft a quarterback, let him sit for a few years, watch grow, i.e., like Aaron Rodgers sitting
Who you
behind
gonna say
Brett
that?
Favre. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and you have them sit behind a quality quarterback for a while, learn the game, learn the system, and then you insert them. When you just throw them to the wolves right away, hey man, they just food out there. I think Justin Fields. I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer in Ohio State quarterbacks at all. None of them. Not Troy Smith.
CJ
Um,
Stroud though is bucking the
not
trend.
still not a believer. Excuse me, because you got to do it for more than 1 year. And in the NFL, they get tape on you, they start breaking down your tendencies, and then you got to do it for more than 1 year.
I ain't gonna lie. I think that boy good. I'm a believer because I just love the accuracy. My biggest thing with quarterbacks is when you don't. I don't. I feel like you got to have a certain amount of accuracy. Me personally, in college, like I don't feel like people that were already a little inaccurate. Oh, they just gonna get better, right? Like and then sometimes you can be accurate. Like Pickett. Pickett was pretty good in college. I knew it was going to be tough for him to be good in the NFL just for whatever reason, but he didn't pan out, and I'll take that one because he was really good at Pitt.
So you know what Kenny Pickett is going to be good at? Kenny Pickett put him in an offense like San Francisco. Um,
Yeah, damn, that's a good point. Damn, that's a good
you put
point.
him in
That's
an offense like San Francisco where it's not his arm strength that's going to get you what you
it's
need.
ball placement.
It's ball
Damn,
placement,
excellent.
it's timing, and it's just like understanding of like reading defensive. What I think he's all good at. His arm has always been like mediocre.
Where did he get traded to?
Philly. So you gonna sit behind Jalen Hurts. He ain't finna see the field.
He not, but I like him as a better backup than Sam Darnold. Why Sam Darnold keeps a job in this league? When we have to look at other quarterbacks, like when I look at Cam and I had to take Donald over Cam, I'm taking Cam all day.
Of
Dog,
course, of
Sam
course,
Darnold sucks. Sam
yeah,
Darnold
of
sucks.
course, of
Okay,
course,
this
of course.
man has never been good. He wasn't good in college. And I'm like, damn, this man finna get another paycheck. You know what I'm saying? What you
But
think about your favorite quarterback out there with the Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield getting 100 million? You
the
know?
number one quarterback, college football quarterback, Baker Mayfield. All right, so I'm glad you brought this up because man, I'm starting. This is the reason why I love the way college football is going because the politics has caught is like it's catching up, right? Everybody who wants to keep the money to themselves, like the system is catching up to them. Nick Saban has showed you like he wanted to keep the money all to himself. And once the money started, like they got the code to the safe, they broke in, and now they distributed the money how it should be distributed. He want to retire. He want to quit because he can't hoard the money all to himself. And the reason why I brought Baker Mayfield into this thing because the politics behind like football especially is crazy. We see it at the college level because you don't have many coaches that are I'm saying black coaches who are head coaches, and you see it on a professional level. You see where these mediocre quarterbacks continue to get these big huge contracts
Mm.
with big money guarantees that haven't done anything. Baker Mayfield, Kirk Cousins, you it's like you get this continuous flow of money. Daniel Jones, and the list could just go on and on of these quarterbacks who have been like mediocre, who don't win, who are just like regular season above average, and other quarterbacks don't get a chance. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, how in the world? Even look at this. Even if you look at Russell Wilson winning percentage compared to Kirk Cousins is way higher. Russell Wilson has a Super Bowl win. I think he's definitely been an MVP candidate runs for a few times. He could have had two Super Bowl wins if they just would have handed the ball off to Marshawn Lynch. All right. He was a winner and he just went to a bad situation in Denver. But he just signed for basically the vet minimum, 1 million on a 1 year. But then you
That's
got somebody named Kirk Cousins who's had one playoff win signed for 100 guaranteed with incentives to get up to like 100 and whatever guaranteed. And they drafted a quarterback. They drafted Desmond Ritter, and Desmond Ritter came in to replace Matt Ryan, who basically is Kirk Cousins with a different number.
straight
So
up.
basically, you're going to end up getting the exact same production. And Matt Ryan won a league MVP and got you to a Super Bowl at least. So you're going to get the same production, but Ritter is a young quarterback. You got an opportunity to grow with him. He got an opportunity. You bring in another quarterback. You pay him all that money. You got to play him. You got to play him. You pay
I think
Baker Mayfield all that money. You got to pay him.
I
What
didn't
did
think
Baker
Ritter
Mayfield
was
do in
this
Cleveland?
drastic.
Nothing.
I never thought Ritter was. I didn't think. I think Atlanta is a franchise outside of when they had, Michael Vick, Matt Ryan was good, right? Because he at least got you to a Super Bowl. They
He
could
was a
have
league
built more,
MVP. He was an MVP one year, also.
but I don't think that they're a franchise that really cares about winning long term. Like, what is your vision? If you go sign Kirk Cousins, after you go now, you got a lot. You got a great. You got they got London out there at receiver, right? They got
Kyle
some
Pitts at
Bijan Robinson.
they got Kyle Pitts at tight end.
Oh my gosh, like come on, bro. You got so you mean to tell me you got all this great, we talking about stallions, we got raw people, but then you finna go ahead and get you a souped up Honda? That don't make no damn sense. That don't make no damn sense. And the thing is, you got a whole bunch of quarterbacks in this draft. And I understand you're just like, you know what? We just want somebody. To me, it just reminds me of what Milwaukee did. We're gonna go get Doc Rivers. What? So you mean to tell me you know what you're gonna get? You know he's not gonna get you over the hump, but you just feel like we just need a ball distributor. So we're gonna overpay? You think about it. They didn't have to pay that much. I don't think another
Yeah,
team was gonna give Kirk Cousins that much money.
they weren't.
They would have.
Think about it. They also passed on Lamar Jackson. That's listen. It's a politics that I hate that people kind of just look past. Um, that we know is really going down in the
It got to
NFL.
be politics. When Kirk
It
Cousins makes more money than Russell Wilson, even though he's coming, like how many bad years did Kirk Cousins have before he finally played decent and still couldn't, what I'm saying, get them over the hump? And it's like, come on, man, like, nah. I understand he had a couple years where he played good and it wasn't his fault, but I'm like, all those other years, nah, bro.
it's not that he's terrible or he's been bad. He's just slightly above average.
Nah, you definitely hit it on
And
the head.
slightly above average in this league don't get you 300 plus million. Listen, Cam has been a league MVP. And Cam can't get a job. Cam can't get an opportunity. They're not giving. They're bringing dudes off who ain't. Joe Flacco was on the bench. Not even on the bench. He was on the bench at home. He was on the couch, and they getting opportunities. And I'm just like, there's too many instances where you see like quarterbacks that shouldn't be getting this type of money, who shouldn't be getting.
Sam Darnold actually doesn't need to be in the league. He don't.
No,
He's not even a good backup. He's
no,
not
he's not.
accurate. He
He's
has
not.
bad ball placement. He don't make good decisions. He was never good coming out of college. I don't care that he's only 26. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, that just mean he was trash at 25. He was trash at 24. He was trash at 23. He
Oh,
got
he
better.
went to the Jets. I understand the Jets are trash, but nah, he always been, just because you spray perfume on shit, that don't mean, you know what I'm saying, that it's any better. It's like, nah, that boy ain't never been good.
I mean, and then Baker Mayfield, like, all right, he had a decent season. I think
He
he made
was
a Pro
decent,
Bowl.
and at the time I was like, damn, I fought with Baker Mayfield for the attitude, but I'm like, this dude wasn't raw. He was slightly above average. Like he gave you, you know what I'm saying, cool play. I understand why they gave him the deal though. And here's the thing about the NFL, which Atlanta's not going to do it, right? Baker Mayfield doesn't perform in year one. He doesn't perform in year two. All the money is front loaded, so they're like they can cut him. But I mean, I do understand that you was gonna have to give him something, right? Because he did the Kirk Cousins. This is the new play in life. Bet on yourself, right? And then ask for a lot more money. So I understand why they did it, because they can cut him in year number 3 and it won't really hit him like that. But
I just see like they just keep getting. It's almost like the coaches, right? It's a whole politics of they still get opportunities. They
yeah,
can
they
have bad seasons and still get picked up and play somewhere else. Coaches, they could be terrible and they still get jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like black coaches ain't getting jobs like that.
no, they not.
They're not
I'm
getting jobs.
mad. You know what the crowd gonna be like? Oh, it's the race. It's like, nah, bro. Come on, man. Like
It,
this is
it, it is like you can see like the evidence is all there. You see coaches who are terrible multiple places. Um, that can go either they can go from NFL to college back to NFL, and still get jobs basically everywhere they go. Where black coaches like they only get an opportunity here or there. They're definitely not getting head coaching jobs. Those are few and far in between. And when you hear about one, it's just like, damn, I hope you do well. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't do well, this opportunity. You're not gonna be like another. You may go back to having an opportunity as a defensive coordinator, but you're not going to get fired one week and then become the head coach of another team the next week. That ain't gonna happen.
Shoot, and then even then, it's like you may have to be like a defensive analyst, you know what I'm saying, somewhere. You may not automatically become the defensive, you know what I'm saying, coach again. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, it's not like that. And you see it all the time, so much so it's like, oh, okay. And some of these dudes, even the GMs, right? I'm looking at them and I'm like, okay, you're not good. You had 3 or 4 terrible drafts. Like whoever's Atlanta's GM, I definitely think that they have drafted some good people, but it's like your most important position, Desmond Ritter. We at home will sit down and be like, I'm not going to spend my draft picks on him. I understand you need a quarterback, but that's not the one. But they draft him, he don't work out, and then it's like, okay, then you go get Kirk Cousins. You need to fire these people. You need to fire these people, bro. Come on, man.
I think, but that's a thing that I say that's different between. I don't know why it's so different between the NFL and college. I think because like I said, I really do think in the NFL the players are like the face of the team, and in college the coaches are the face of the team. They're the
Mm.
face of they're like the brand of the university.
No, that's very true, right? Because now with NIL, we're just now seeing that slowly maybe change, but who really knows? You know what I'm saying? The coaches kind of still run college football.
And I bring that up because it's like why if your university is committed to winning, like you really are committed to winning, really trying to win national championships, you just know like the notoriety just brings more money, more sponsorship, more TV deals. It just is what it is. Like what is the commitment to these coaches? Like why as a fan base or as a university, like the commitment to Mario is so strong. Like if you committed to winning, because winning creates more dollar, creates more notoriety, creates more publicity for the university. Why like going 7 and 6 year after year is something that you're committed to. You see in the NFL, like you get like 2, 3 years and your ass can be up out of there. They packing bags. They don't care what type of money they just spent because they're trying to make sure, especially if they're a brand that wins, they got to keep that winning brand there. But you
I
got a team
think
like Miami who like you'll see like the stay committed when it's just like, yo, man, we shouldn't committing 10 years out the gate was crazy.
Miami is an accidental winner, though. You know what I'm saying? And I think when you look at the fans, we
Yeah.
have the most delusional fans. And the reason that we get laughed at so much is because when you look at people and year after year they don't win and they're still talking, right? So you was almost like you were a boxer. You get your ass knocked out, fight after fight, and you're still talking smack. And they don't realize that there's only 10% of Miami fans that really know, like, you know what, like us, we'll be like, this ain't gonna work out too well. Oh, okay, no, 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 no. They hype train. It's almost like they want to believe in delusion. Pretty much like, you know what I'm saying? Like almost like you sell a woman dreams. And so when you really think about it, Miami had really one good run, right? We got Howard Schellenberger, and then we got, a whole bunch of dope coaches, you know what I'm saying? Kind of somewhat accidental. Our last good coach was what's the name?
Butch.
FIU.
Butch.
Butch. That was our last great coach. So you mean to tell me you can't see that most of these coaches are not good? Then when we point out, like, yo, Rhett Lashley, we can see it clear as day. This is a good coach. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. Then he goes to SMU, does well over there. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna do well at SMU. You realize that most of our fan base, they're in love with the mystique, and they know that they're in Miami, so they know that at the end of the day, the recruiting is right there. But what they're still not, but they don't understand. They don't understand the inner workings of play calling and coaching. And there's even certain people where they're just so loyal to the university, they just like, well, we're just gonna win. So fuck the facts, right? We're gonna win because we got this. We sat down and we were like, okay, look at Mario. You can kind of see if this dude wasn't Mario and it was just a resume, you wouldn't hire him. Not if you're committed to winning.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Like remove the name from the resume. And if you just look at the resume, before he comes to Miami, like his resume looks
And this is after you've had several years of not winning. You look at this resume, you say, I'm committed to winning. So you're committed to winning, but this is what you're going to get? Nah. One thing you can even say about Florida State is that what's the name was winning at Memphis. He was winning at Memphis. And you can
Yeah.
say Memphis always wins, but still, you were at Oregon and you won 1 or 2 years. Like they go in on those 2 years, and it's like, well, Chip Kelly was the standard for this program. You do realize that, right? You know,
Mm.
Chip Kelly, you know what I'm saying, like had them here. So you didn't, you know what I'm saying, you continued to bring in those recruits, but you didn't really win with what you had. You won 1 or 2 years. Those records are not enough. We take your name away from that. You're not getting hired a lot of places just based on recruiting. Now, would you be an O-line co-offensive coordinator? Of course. Of course. You know what I'm saying? We definitely want you there. We definitely know you're going to be in there. But it's like, come on. And then you know that, think about it. Miami fans still don't mind losing again because they're defending and everything. When we took a knee, when we failed to take that knee, they made an excuse. That is a fan. Those are a culture of fans who are okay with losing. They look at Alabama and say, we don't want that. They looked at Oregon this turnaround year and said, we don't want that. We want to win because we have this notion that because we're Miami, fuck the NFL, right? Like you said, you get 2 or 3 years, you out of there. Look, the San Francisco defensive coordinator didn't have a bad year, but they looked at, he was the reason that they, take a
Right.
look at LSU. LSU had a better season than us. Brian Kelly fired that whole staff. Why? Because of the standard. Because of the standard. Mario went
I'm just
five.
like, why are they so scared to make changes, right? Because at the end of the day, like it ain't like they not gonna get taken care of. They getting paid, they getting whatever their contract says they're gonna get, and they'll probably end up landing somewhere else. Just typically what happens. But I'm just like, why are they so scared to take this position? Like you said with Oregon, like Brian Kelly was the standard. If you don't meet this standard, or at least give us like the idea that this standard is going to be met,
I
like
mean LSU.
you on a short lease.
Yeah.
All right, and you got
But
to know
Brian
that.
Kelly was a winner everywhere he went, though. So you got, if I took away the name Brian Kelly and we looked at this resume, what you said is you went to the playoff, you were good every single year, but then you couldn't get over the hump. But that's still an elite head coach, right? Because you went to the playoff. You know what I'm saying? You did certain things. And you had plays here and there, but they weren't questionable. Versus somebody like Al Golden, right? When they lost that game against Ohio State and they didn't have enough men on the field, you go back and you look, Al Golden, very questionable. Where was Al Golden? That was your head coach. Miami fans got to understand, between the fans and the administration, we are Vanderbilt. We are Wake Forest. We are definitely not a
Mm,
university. And think about it,
mm.
academics, we share that with those universities, right? We're more in line. We are a small private school. The only thing is we're in the most fertile recruiting ground. That's it. What separates us from Wake Forest? Is the fact Wake Forest has a better tradition of basketball compared to us because they're always going to be committed to, you know what I'm saying, just to winning in that regard. And the same thing with Vanderbilt. These are small schools. They're not necessarily in the recruiting hotbed. So it's like, oh, okay. But Miami, between the fans and everybody else, they're not really committed to winning, and you can tell.
You know what? Stop. You made a great point, man. I don't think nobody's really touched on that either. I think, you know what I'm saying, another video, we might have to go deep into that. And I ain't thought of that at all. Like, we are a small private university who academically we're one of the best schools in the country. But
Definitely.
we just happen, we just by luck happen to be in the probably the hottest bed of recruiting. No, not probably.
Those
We are.
delusional, those delusional fans can't tell you the stories about when UM was so garbage they wanted to cancel the football game or they were offering free whoppers. Why? Because they parents really, you feel me? Now you got certain alumni who know that, but even the old school alumni who actually went to UM, right? Because most of the people that went from UM, we didn't go to UM. We're just from Miami, right? And UM was never like, they had classic players, right? When you look at the top, maybe 50 players, you definitely had people who were, you know what I'm saying, good, but UM was never elite until Howard Schellenberg. And when he got, and the reason that he could do that is because they had to offer free whoppers. Those people can't tell you, fam, you used to beat UM. UM was a pick me. UM was a garbage. They were horrendous. They were nobodies, all right? They were never elite at all. You had one person's vision. That wasn't a university. That was Howard Schellenberger. All they did was like, okay, I got this. Let me get somebody else. But at the end of the day, when you're as a fan, you don't know that. You can't see that. Then you realize, you know what? This was a period that one man really started and he built up. And the same thing, we can even say that with Louisville. Howard Schellenberger built Louisville. He made that program into what it is. And so when you take a look at the vision of the university after that, they were great about maintaining it and building it up and hiring great ADs. But after that, now that you have to really think about what a philosophy is, what a foundation is, and the fans are so lost. The administration were lost. Now, shout out to the president, because the president just did what the fans wanted. He was like, look, I spent big with whoever they told me to get, they got. The problem is, though, they don't really understand foundation, and they just wanted what they wanted. But that just shows you that all those decisions point to a private school that is academically similar to Vanderbilt, similar to, to Wake Forest, but they're just in a recruiting hotbed. They don't know football, and they're not committed to winning, but they're committed to the optics, though. They're committed to the branding, right? And that's just what it's going to be. Because there's no way in 20 years that you hire a bad coach after bad coach and you say, you know what, I can't even afford to mess this up. So the one decision that you couldn't afford to mess up, you went with name recognition. You didn't go with resume, because resume, you had Lane Kiffin right down there. You should have been on your knees over there begging Lane Kiffin. But why? Because Lane Kiffin was just at Alabama. Lane Kiffin is a known commodity to be at that point. The only thing I can say is that he wasn't an elite head coach, but he was an elite coordinator. Matter of fact, he is the reason that Alabama was as great as what it was. So no, that's what you want to get, and he's right down there. But you didn't do that because you're not that. Deep down, you're really that team that they had to beg some of our parents, free whoppers, to go to the goddamn game. And that's the problem with the fans. They don't remember that. They don't want to know that. They got every fact but the truth. But sorry, as we watch the ever-changing landscape of sports, we just got to call it what it is. And let me tell you something about UM fans. They will be happy this year to go 9-3. I'm talking about, they like, oh, that's it right there. And then they'll get a whole bunch of other people that love the brand, but don't want to say the ugly truth too. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, I agree. 9-3 will be jumping for joy when that should just be
really
expectation.
Really, they'll be so happy. 10-2, they're gonna say they're the greatest thing ever on that soft schedule. But all that's gonna happen is they go 9-3, they go 10-2, then they got to play a real tough schedule next year. Then they looking crazy. They're like, oh man, right? And let's just caption this too, because it's probably gonna go like this. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, though, the only cool part about it is that they're not committed to winning the same way that the Vikings aren't committed to winning, the same way that Atlanta is not committed to winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Dolphins, I feel like the Dolphins are a lot more committed to winning. I don't know if you follow them. They didn't make the best of moves, but you know what? I feel like they got a great coach. They got a player's coach. I definitely don't think Tua is the answer, right? But I feel like we're going to be going to the playoffs, you know what I'm saying? And we're at least a lot more, competitive than what it was. So, you know what I'm saying? That I understand. But I feel like you said, when it comes to professional sports as politics, sometimes the colleges, even with UM, a lot of politics, you know what I'm saying? Our basketball team wasn't good, but I think that when you take a look, if we compare the coaching for the football team versus the coaches to the basketball team committed to winning. And it's not always the same. Well, we didn't get the result we want. Doesn't matter. Great bet.
I think that's a great point. I think that's probably a great point that people miss out on. Because sometimes you don't win, even when you're committed to winning, but you see that the commitment to winning is there. And you may not just always get the results. And that could be a number of factors that go into that. But the commitment to winning is there. You went and got the coach with the resume. So years like last year and the year before when they made the Elite Eight, these are more of your norms, and a year like this year is more of your anomaly. Because yeah.
Not to switch gears on you, but you mentioned the NFL, but you ain't really talk about the running back market, right? Last year we had running backs that were pissed off, right? We had Saquon Barkley. We had a lot of teams that didn't value the running back position. Then we go to the playoffs, and all the teams that did well had a strong running game. Now all of a sudden, even though I can't say that they just gave them massive, They gave the running backs more of what they want, everyone except for Green Bay. And Green Bay went out and upgraded, you know what I'm saying, in a smart way.
You think they upgraded? Look, when you look at the numbers, they're exactly the same. I mean,
They're
like
exactly the
actually,
same.
actually, actually, Josh Jacob numbers are a little bit lower.
Only last year. Before that, he's a little bit better. Last year,
Just by a little bit, not a whole lot. It ain't a
he
gap.
led the league in rushing. Um, I can't verify them. I'm sure you know what I'm saying if we compare them, but nah, he had 1,300 yards. You know what I'm saying the year before last. Like nah, I ain't gonna lie, he was the offense out there for the Raiders. Now definitely don't get it twisted because I like what's the name that what's the running back for the Green Bay name?
Aaron Jones.
I love Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones balled during the playoffs. But Josh Jacobs, this is you hit this man, he's still getting 4 or 5 more yards.
So
I don't think
he's 4 years younger. He's 4 years younger.
and he was raw. He had one down year. And the Raiders are a team that doesn't have an identity. You know what I'm saying? They ended up firing what's the name, coach. You know, they you know what I'm saying? Like they at the end of the day, I will go ahead and say they were a little dysfunctional. Although I don't know, for some reason, I like the Raiders. I don't necessarily always like the owners' moves, but I like the Raiders. I love Green Bay though. I've been a Green Bay fan ever since Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. Outside of Miami, and the fact that the team is owned by the people. Okay, so you know what I'm saying. A lot of people who in the football know that, but no, the
mm,
shareholders, you know what I'm saying, own them. Not just that. I like how they do business because if you think about it, they didn't want to. Both of them had a point, right? Like they didn't want to give him the money that he wanted. He already had took a pay cut, so he's like, I can't, in good faith, take another pay cut. But at
yeah.
the end of the day, they said instead of cutting you after the start, I'm gonna cut you. They let him know. They communicated with him what they were gonna do, and you can't do nothing but respect the team for that. You know what I'm saying? And then they turned around and played another running back who the team didn't value him and didn't want to get the money that he had earned. You know what I'm saying? And so I think I could take. I think in business, you're not always going to have happy people, but I can respect when people. You know what? I disagree with your stance, but I'm gonna do right by you as far as communication. How many times, whether it's the NBA or the football, you don't know you got traded until you turn on the
Turn
TV.
on the TV. Them
you,
players that got traded at halftime, like you don't know what's happening. You on the plane, you on the bus. They telling you,
It'd be hilarious. Them boys be like, I didn't even know. My agent gonna call me right afterward. Oh yeah, you got traded. I know, fool. I don't watch it on Sports Center. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? So I do feel like they communicated with him right. You know, I'm never. You know, when we look at the salary cap and what it is, because I'm looking at it like, damn, why didn't you? I understand that he's a little bit younger, but Aaron Rodgers has. I mean, not Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Jones has looked durable. I feel like you gave Josh Jacobs 4 years. I think that you not just that. Jones is big in the locker room and the community. I think
mhm.
if it's me, you give that man 2 more years. Why not? Why not?
Look, he's played well. He's played very well.
You play that in the elite
He
level.
ain't
They
the
took
reason.
down that
And in
playoff.
the playoffs, this
They
playoff
gave
this last
listen.
year, he was getting busy.
They could have been. They could have been in the Super Bowl. Okay, they could have damn near been. You know
Listen,
what I'm
it
saying?
wasn't because he was fumbling or he
Nah,
wasn't.
bro.
Aaron Jones was going to work in the playoffs. So
Nah,
I'm
he
just
was.
like,
That boy was balling. That man
li-
was balling.
listen, that's why I said it got to be something else.
And
He
he
took
took
a
a pay
lot of
cut.
stuff.
He took a pay cut the year before. He restructured it. You know what I'm saying?
Restructure. Listen, that's why I tell the players, man. My new thing is if you're not the star of the show, you just a prop in somebody else's story. All right, they'll cut you. You'll restructure. You do all of this stuff, and they'll get you up out of there because they about their agenda. I'm all for players being selfish. Get all the money. All
You
right,
have
get
to because
all of the
look
money.
at the so think about it, right? The NFL is that's America's #1 sport. Maybe it was baseball back in the day, but it's not.
Yeah,
Basketball players make more money, and even when you cut them, they're keeping the money. How you got the #1 sport, right? Super Bowl, most widely watched TV
hmm
program, set records year after year, the ads in the Super Bowl halftime.
hmm
Yet you can cut people, they can't get no money and they have no job security. That whole process is politics. That whole process is
Not
politics.
not just get cut, have no job security.
Yo, they need
The
another
level of
lottery.
physical, the amount of physical, the potential for physical like long term like health issues is far greater than any other sport. Far
Yo,
greater.
no, not far greater. Do you see how people like went in on Shannon? Like they got whole memes and jokes, and I'm like, yo, this man has had 2 hip surgeries, two busted knees, laid everything out there on the line, and all y'all got is jokes. And I get it, right? You want to have it. I'm just like, I don't have like it's not to say it's not funny. I mean, by all means, do your laugh, but it's just like you don't really see like the sport. The next time they have a lockout, give people 6 months with no football.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm telling you now. Yeah, you can have, you remember that movie, The Replacements with Keanu Reeves. It was dope. And you can have the USFL, but I'm like, nah, man, you gotta have alternative leagues. You gotta have something else because I think at the end of the day, the players don't realize it. Y'all have that next lockout. Tell them boys in the back, shut up, don't eat because you can get more money in the long run. Or you can sacrifice for more. Like, come on. But a lot of them players, you feel me? I hate to say it, but it's them boys out there. I'm gonna go ahead and say something controversial because we don't got a big fan base. There's a lot of them boys out there that they only thinking about me, me, me. They don't care. You feel me? I don't know if it's the ones with the white girlfriends and just the short term, but it's like, look, y'all stick together during the lockout. There ain't no way that you can't get better financial stability and more. Talking about like, why is it got to be? I think the NBA contracts is there and they're all guaranteed. Like there's short windows, right? To where they'll
They have some contracts that are not guaranteed,
but that's
but
not the norm anymore.
no. Well, they'll have like 10-day contracts. Once you get on with the team, you have a
Exactly.
fully guaranteed
That's
contract.
what I'm
Once you're
saying. Like
on with
I
the
could
team.
take a 10-day
So
contract,
if you're
10
not
days,
on a two-way, if you're not on a 10-day,
or a
once you're
team option in the last year, right? Team option, and if
yeah.
they don't cut you by this day, but with football, they saying
Well,
guarantee
they can't cut you. They have to buy you out.
exactly.
So you're not just getting cut. So you hear a lot of times where like veteran players get traded and then they get bought out by a team and then they become available on the
Yeah,
open
for
market.
less money, and that's understandable. Is that even a concept in NFL? Buy you out? They just cut. Listen.
You
Them
don't
boys,
have to cut
Russell
that
Wilson,
nigga.
and that man ain't hardly getting none of the money. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll take the cap hit, the dead money, and we'd be looking like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, all the team and the dead money, bro. This man ain't getting a chunk of that money. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that's crazy. And once again, it's not for lack of money. It's because the owners got the players by the balls. And I'm like, yeah, that's crazy to me. That's
Politics. You look at Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, how they talking about they asked him to restructure his deal again. Here's just like, nah, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. Traded him for like a 6th round pick. So I'm just like,
I be feeling like, do they trade you for two pieces of toilet paper for
yeah,
something in the white they ass as like an extra fu just along
yeah.
the way? I'll be
Yeah,
like,
I think they do it on purpose. Like, listen, I'm gonna show you how valuable you are. Even though Keenan Allen, he just came off his best year, had over 100 catches, over 1,000 yards, has been like one of the best players. Basically, when you think about the Chargers for the since Phillip Rivers left, it's only been Keenan Allen who's been like the consistent player there every single year. He's been raw for them, and like this is how you repay. This
I
this is this
started
the
this
thanks I
game.
get.
I know. I thought of this gangster ish, and this is the thanks I get. Dang,
Yeah.
boy.
This the thanks I get. And it'd be like, you know what? I'll trade your ass for I think it's like a conditional or something like that. Some random shit
And
like
we be looking like, what is that? Conditional
yeah, conditional pick. Like
supplemental draft. What?
yeah, stuff yeah, it's some other shit. So I'll be like, damn, yo, like they don't even value you, even though you've been out there putting it on the line for them. You big up. I mean, that's why, like, I know you said the players, about being selfish, but I think they need to be selfish because
Nah, they do. They do. They do.
the team is just, they always say that we're going to do what's in the best interest of our franchise. You know what I'm saying? And a
But
lot of times, what's in the best interest, what
they
it's in
got
the
to do
best
another
interest is,
lockout. They
yeah,
got to do a lockout, and they got to be super selfish. And they just man, I don't want to play. I'm not gonna play because I think at this point it's ludicrous. And I think the fans that disagree, which when you go through the comments, fans be like, "Look at him, he's just greedy." What? What in the CTE hip replacement non-guaranteed cut for nothing are you talking about? Greedy? And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is America. Gordon Greco, greed is good, especially
yeah,
when they don't care nothing about you. They don't
yeah.
care
They
nothing.
can catch you at any time. I think Malcolm Jenkins. I think he got cut right before the Super Bowl, or he got deactivated right before the Super Bowl. They could do a lot of stuff in the NFL they can't do anywhere else. They can do a lot of, you know what I'm saying? You can get cut at any time, at any
We
point.
know they can blackball you and then bring in somebody more garbage who not gonna win, and then the fans ain't even much gonna say nothing.
I,
So
I
I'm like,
I want Cam to come back just to prove just to prove to people like the politics is real. Because a lot of people just like, oh yeah, you just want to talk about the race and the politics. Like, no, no, no. The politics in the NFL is real.
when
It's a
you got
real thing.
Sam Darnold still playing, of course it's politics. The hell up out of here, man. Bailey's out. Out of here.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. Well,
You know what? I'm glad Bill Belichick lost his job because I'm like, what the hell? Who y'all starting over there? You know, goddamn, what? Nah,
Matt
hell nah.
Jones.
Nah, I'm out here like Nick Saban. I'm starting everybody 10-day contracts. I'm getting people. I'm like, look, come on. You want to play? You know what I'm saying? We're gonna find us somebody who got some type of accuracy. Cause look, you know what I'm saying? So you know,
All right, well, sure, we're gonna wrap this up, man. But yeah, go ahead and jump in the comments. Let us know what it is. Always like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. Mr. Player Partners from the bottom of the map.
from the bottom of the map,
Here we go.
and we gone.